All right. So how do you handle the move out process with a tenant? Well, it's going to vary, of course, as I always say, it's going to vary state by state. It's going to vary. So you're going to want to look into that and make sure that you have all your ducks in a row because at least in the capital region, most recently, there are some really specific elements of it that you don't want to mess up. Because if you mess them up, then the tenant will be entitled to their full security deposit regardless of condition. So for example, here, if you don't, after the date they move out, if you don't get them their deposit back, or it's a partial deposit with an itemized list, an explanation for why they're not getting their full amount, if you don't get that to them within, it's something like 2 weeks, somewhere thereabouts, after they move out, then they're entitled immediately to their full deposit refund, regardless. Tenants are very much aware of this. They're quick to point it out, and they will even sometimes do things to try to bring that about. But think about it. If they move out, if you're operating at scale, you've got many units, and you've got 16 move-outs this month. You've got to get to 16 of them. Say there's a weekend in there, so you lose 2 more days, assuming you're not open on the weekend. You've got a very short timeline to go view the move-out condition of the property, compare it against the checklist that they provided on move-in, the move-in checklist, which is all the things that they cited, like ripped screens and things that were pre-existing conditions prior to their move-in, things that they're not responsible for. So you're going to compare it against your move-out against that. You're going to compare it against your video you took of the condition of the property before they moved in. You're going to compare it against all that. Then you've got to put dollars to it, right? You've got to say, this is going to be X number of dollars and get the pricing. You might potentially need to bring in a vendor to do that. I mean, your timeline is just shrinking here to get all this information. And then you've got wear and tear, which your definition of wear and tear is very different than my definition. No two people are going to agree on all the items that are considered normal wear and tear from a move out. At what point does damage to a wall stop being normal wear and tear and start being damage caused by a tenant? Then it goes, if God forbid you go to court, you're standing before a judge, wear and tear is up to them. They decide what is wear and tear. They decide what is reasonable. And if you live in a city where tenants, judges tend to side with tenants, you're probably going to be giving them back their full deposit. So be really mindful of any requirements that are in place for them to be notified or get their deposit back. Make sure that you've got your documentation in line, right? Make sure you've got your pre-move-in video that showed the condition of the apartment, before they moved in. Make sure you've got a copy of their move-in checklist if they completed one. Make sure you got a copy of that so you can reference that. Take really great video and documentation of the condition of the apartment on move out prior to them moving out. At least here, they have a right to do a move out walkthrough with you. So you should definitely take them up on that offer, because that move out walkthrough, I have actually had times where that move out walkthrough, I pointed things out and they came back and fixed it. So that was really nice. But definitely take them up on that. And again, just make sure that you have everything documented and do everything you can to get that information over to them ASAP, and then hopefully from there you don't get into a dispute, where they take you to court to fight, if you had not given them back their full deposit. I'll tell you, that's often not worth it. I would say if a tenant comes back to you after the move out and they say, hey, you took $1,000 from my deposit, I'm going to take you to court. Try to compromise with them, hey, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll give you 500. I can't tell you how many times they've said, you know what, that's fine. And it's worth it for you. Give up $500 to avoid having to put together a case for court, to go stand before a judge. So this is all time, and time is money. This is all your time that's going to get eaten up doing this, only to have a judge in all likelihood side with the tenant. So compromise with the tenant when you can, and move on, right? Move on. But that's essentially the move out process in a nutshell. Make sure you have everything documented.